because we don't know what the exponents n and m are, they may be negative. To avoid having 0 in the denominator, we have assumed x to be non-zero. So since x is non-zero, so by part b of the previous proposition, x to the power minus n is non-zero. Keep in mind that minus n is a positive integer. That's why we have been able to divide both sides. We have been able to divide and multiply by x to the power minus n. Non-zero-ness of this power comes from part b of proposition 4310. Since it's not that obvious, it's better to include it within brackets. Note that since x is not equal to 0, for 310 b implies x to the power minus n is not equal to 0. Okay, so this is only the case where m plus n is greater than 0. If m plus n is equal to 0, then x to the power m plus n m plus n is equal to 0, then this is equal to x to the power 0, which is equal to 1, and 1 can be written as x to the power m times 1 by x to the power m. Again, note that non-zero-ness of x implies x to the power m is non-zero, where m is a positive integer. Now x to the power m stays like that, but by definition of exponentiation with negative index or negative exponent, since m is positive, this is equal to x to the power minus m. That's the meaning of x to the power minus m. And since minus m now is n, so we can write x to the power m times x to the power n. So if m plus n is 0, then also the formula is true. And finally, we are left with the case where m plus n is negative. If m plus n is negative, then x to the power minus of m plus n times x to the power m. M plus n is negative, so minus of m plus n is positive, and m was already positive. So here we can apply proposition 4310 part A, that part of the formula, to write it like this: minus of m plus n plus m, this is equal to x to the power minus n. Okay. This implies we can divide both sides by x to the power minus n times x to the power minus of m plus n. Why? Because x is non-zero and minus n and minus m plus n are both positive. So the corresponding powers are also non-zero. So we can divide both sides by that. This implies, and doing so we get what? Let me show it so there won't be any confusion when we later look at these calculations. So these two things cancel out, and okay, what are we getting? Okay, I have to write another factor here. Or x to the power m times x to the power n. Since n is negative, so this by definition is 1 by x to the power minus n, which now from the above formula, above equation is equal to 1 by 1 over x to the power minus of m plus n, and that is equal to, because m plus n is negative, again by definition this is equal to x to the power m plus n. So in this case we see that again the formula is true. So all the cases have been covered when m is positive and n is negative. Since multiplication of rational numbers is commutative, since multiplication of rational numbers is commutative, the case where m is negative and n is positive follows from the case follows from the above case. I leave it to you to figure out what I have written here and why we don't really need to look at this case. It is a consequence of this case because multiplication of rational numbers is commutative, and that's just it. We have seen all the cases. M and n are, whenever they are both natural numbers, that is taken care of in the previous proposition. If both of them are negative integers, that also we have seen. If exactly one of them is positive, that also we have seen. And if one of them is 0 and the other is negative, then in that case the result is trivially true. Okay, so this proves all the possibilities, and hence we have our result. Next, we prove this. Here also the starting is just like the one we had here. Since we already have this when n and m are natural numbers, we look at the other cases. Look at the other cases. Okay, so if one of n and m is 0 and the other is negative, that also let's just look at that. Say n is 0. If n is 0, x to the power n is 1. In that case, that to the power m is 1 irrespective of the sign of m, whether m is positive, negative or 0, that is always 1. Here if n is 0, then the exponent becomes 0, so x to the power 0 is 1. So yes, we have covered that case. If m is 0, then you don't have to, that is even more immediate. If m is 0, the left hand side is 1, the right hand side is also 1. The cases are, let's just write like this. The identity is trivially true when one of these two integers is 0 and the other is negative. Then this is trivially true. Okay, now one by one we look at the other possible cases. Let n be positive and m be negative. Then if m is negative minus m is positive, so by the similar result from the previous proposition, this is equal to x to the power n times minus m or x to the power minus n m. Okay, which implies when m is negative, by definition this is equal to this, but this is equal to this minus nm. Now n is positive, m is negative, so their product is negative. The accompanying minus sign makes that positive. So again by definition this is equal to x to the power minus of minus nm, which is nm. I need some ink. Okay, so this is equal to n m. So in this case we have what we want. One can easily prove by induction. To look at the other cases, we need a result which we are not going to prove. One can prove that directly from induction. One can easily prove by induction that this one 1 by x whole to the power k is equal to 1 by x to the power k for all positive integers k. One can prove this. Without proof, we are just going to assume it and we are going to use it to settle this next case. If m and n are both negative, then x to the power n whole to the power m. First, since this is an mth power, by definition, and since m is negative, this is to the power minus m. Minus m is positive. Okay. Then this is equal to 1 over. Now n is negative and minus m is positive. So what do we get from this? N is negative and minus m is positive. Okay. Now we impose the definition of x to the power n, because n is negative. Doing that gives us this. Shall I be able to write it neatly here? That is the question. X to the power minus n. By definition, the term in the denominator, this whole thing is equal to x to the power n whole to the power minus m. Okay. Now we are going to use this thing. Minus m is positive because m is negative. Both m and n are negative. Here in place of k you think minus m, and in place of x you think of x to the power minus n. So using this result, this will be 1 upon x to the power minus n to the power minus m. Okay, I think it's better to continue from there. And this thing is equal to 1 over 1 over x to the power minus n times minus m. Why? Because minus n is positive, minus m is also positive. So this is equal to this, the bottom term. And this is coming from our previous proposition part A itself, the second rule of exponent. Now from properties of rational numbers, the reciprocal of the reciprocal of a non-zero rational number is the number itself. So this is equal to minus n times minus m, which is n m. So in this case also we have proved that our formula is actually true. Okay, now have we covered all the cases? We have considered n to be positive and m to be negative. Okay, and if both n and m are natural number, that is there in the previous proposition. Then here we considered m and n to be both negative, but we still have one more case. N is negative and m is positive. That also has to be taken care of, because you see in the previous identity x, this one, n and m had the same status. If you want to say that n appears before m, that is also that also does not change anything, because you can write the identity like this. This is equal to this because multiplication of rational numbers is commutative, and this of course is coming from commutativity of addition of integers. So there is no special status of one of the integers. Here however, that symmetry is not there. M is outside and n is inside. So this case where n is positive and m is negative is something, and the case where n is negative and m is positive is something else entirely. So that case has to be handled separately. If n is negative and m is positive, then I think it will follow easily from the things we have seen here. Since n is negative, this is equal to 1 by x to the power minus n. By definition, x to the power n is this whole to the power m. Now here you use this formula. Using that we get this. Now minus n is positive because of this, and m is already positive. So this is a place where we can use our original rule of exponent from the previous proposition. So this gives us minus n times m, which is 1 by minus nm. Okay, now m and n are of opposite signs, so their product nm is negative, minus of that is positive. So by definition this is equal to x to the power minus of minus nm. That means x to the power nm. Yes, now we have seen all the cases. And finally, we prove this. Okay, we already have this result. We have, in fact, we have not proved it, but I told you to do it on your own. in the previous proposition where n is a natural number. So now we have to just look at the case where n is a negative integer. Since we already have when n is a natural number, we now look at the case where n is negative. In this case, xy to the power n by definition is this minus n, and this is equal to from what we proved previously, x to the power minus n, y to the power minus n, which can be written like this, and this again by definition is x to the power n, y to the power n. So this completes the proof of part A of this proposition. Then part B. Okay, in part B, what is the here it is given that x is greater than or equal to y and y is greater than 0. Now our rational numbers x and y are non-zero. Okay, if this happens, then this, if n is positive, and the exact opposite thing if n is negative. This is the assertion of part B. Now, if n is positive, this follows from proposition 4310b. So from there itself it follows. So we just have to look at the case where n is negative. The implication this implies follows from proposition 4310. No, not in B. There in C we have, okay, we need B also, however, to conclude that y to the power n is not equal to 0, because y is not equal to 0. B and C. So we just have to look at the negative case. Now assume that x is greater than or equal to y and they are positive, and n is negative. Since minus n is positive, we have by that first case x to the power minus n greater than or equal to y to the power minus n greater than 0. Now all you have to do is you have to divide throughout by x to the power minus n, y to the power minus n, and we can do that because they are both positive, so the inequality also will not get reversed. Not only are they not 0, but they are in fact positive. Dividing throughout by the positive rational number this we get one by y to the power minus n greater than or equal to 1 by x to the power minus n greater than 0, or y to the power n is greater than or equal to x to the power n, that is greater than 0. So that's what we had to show.